Hello there. Today I finally got to see the new Wonka movie, and now I want to talk to you about it. It's a musical fantasy adventure film that follows a young man named Willy arriving in a new town for the first time. He dreams of becoming the world's greatest chocolatier, and sets to work fulfilling his dream. The film is based on Roald Dahl's character Willy Wonka, and the story was written by Paul King. It was then adapted into a screenplay by Simon Farnaby and Paul King, and directed by Paul King. It stars Timothee Chalamet as Willy Wonka, Calla Lane as Noodle, and Hugh Grant as Lofty the Oompa Loompa. There's also an assorted cast of stars playing supporting roles. Actors like Olivia Colman, Keegan-Michael Key, and Rowan Atkinson. For those of you familiar with Roald Dahl's story or any of the other Willy Wonka films, this movie is not directly connected to those in any way. That said, they do reference the other films quite a bit and borrow elements from their designs. The story is a lighthearted tale about a young man trying to make his way in life. He finds out that the world isn't as nice a place as he's been led to believe, but still ends up making friends through hard work and perseverance. As people learn about his charm, they flock to him to get a taste of his magical chocolate, but this increase in reputation brings unsavory attention that threatens to put an end to his entire dream, the Chocolate Cartel, a group of businessmen that control all of the chocolate in town. It happens linearly with a little bit of humor, a few flashbacks, and a lot of singing and dancing. There are at least 5 big dance numbers in the film, and each comes complete with a huge choreography and lots of scene changes. The screen time is mostly focused on Willy Wonka and his friends while they're on their journey. The rest of the townsfolk are witnesses to Willy Wonka's magical nature, and they spend their entire time either being impressed or disgusted by what they see. They're mostly an audience. Then you have the Chocolate Cartel and their assorted henchmen. They're cartoonish villains who take chocolate as payment for their services and perform in the most flamboyant ways possible. They sing, they dance, and they love to put on a show. Finally, there's Willy Wonka, Noodle, and their friends. Their friends are all underdogs in the same situation as them. They each get a strong one-note personality and support them in their journey. Willy Wonka is an eccentric but somewhat naive person that doesn't quite make sense. He's hopeful, loyal, and totally carefree. He runs around doing whatever he wants and breaking the rules everywhere. He even breaks a few laws of physics. Noodle sits opposite to Willy. She's a young girl who sees the cruelty of the world and tries to help others avoid it. She's kind, brave, and smart, but also a little bit hopeless. She's given up after her years in indentured servitude. The visual journey involves Willy arriving in an unnamed town in Europe and starting his adventure. The camera follows Willy around through his day with a few cutaways to the Chocolate Cartel and their followers. It's filled with musical dance numbers, little bits of magic in the form of people flying and having their appearances changed, and lots of big, elegant-looking sets that capture the magical nature of Willy Wonka's world. The soundtrack has 2 modes. One mode is scored instrumentals that follow the scenery closely and support the emotions. The other mode is musical mode when the characters start singing and dancing. They express their inner dialogues to the world and have a lot of fun doing it. The musical numbers involve one character taking the lead and a large cast of extras supporting them in their song. The songs are backed by a big band and range from loud and boisterous to soft and melancholic. Okay, I really enjoyed this film. The writing is exciting and finally explains why Willy Wonka is so magical after all these years. They still keep a bit of the unexplained magic alive by not telling you exactly how everything works, but they did a good job of explaining just enough to get the idea and then stayed consistent with that. The story makes Willy into a likable character that you want to root for and surrounds him with underdogs you want to see win. They're put opposite a couple of cartoon villains who enjoy being evil for once, and the result is an enjoyable, flavorful adventure with a lot of heart at the core. The musical numbers are fun and catchy. The message at the heart of it is meaningful and well delivered, and the little bits of humor throughout the film had me laughing constantly. Cast-wise, the extras don't get to do much beyond being amazed or horrified. They feel like an audience rather than people living in the world. The supporting actors create likable, interesting characters, participate in the songs, and play out a few good emotions. There are a lot of good performances across the board, with some great performances coming from side characters who get little to no screen time. It's hard to choose any of them as standouts because so many of them made such incredible use of their time. Timothee Chalamet as Willy Wonka gets the most screen time and carries most of the film on his back though. He's likable, does a good job with the songs, and creates a level of unpredictability to his character that really resembles Gene Wilder's version. He did great with the emotional journey and stood out as a bit wild and crazy. Visually, the film is colorful, easy to follow along with, and filled with visual spectacles. Everything from the sets down to the costumes is beautifully designed to make the world of Willy Wonka feel special. The shots are always clean, come with some interesting angles and movement, and capture the emotions of the story in full detail. Every second of the runtime is visually appealing to look at. For big standout scenes, you have moments of characters flying through the night sky. people being turned into yetis, big musical dance numbers where the characters move around and make use of huge spaces, and there are even a few action sequences toward the end. I laughed so hard at the Oompa Loompa jetpack. Sound-wise, the film makes incredible use of its soundtrack. The instrumentals are there throughout most of the film, quietly supporting the story in big ways, and drawing out all kinds of emotion from every single moment. They used songs from the previous films as thematic storytelling devices and had musical numbers that not only developed the characters, but pushed the plot forward. The music is a big part of the storytelling, and it does a wonderful job of getting it across clearly. The musical numbers were a lot of fun, and were visually spectacular to witness. Overall, Wonka does a fantastic job of telling a new story within the Wonka universe, and it does it with an insane level of production value. The writing is good, the acting is good, the visuals are good, and the soundtrack is good. Every part of this film is well done, and I highly recommend it to everyone who doesn't hate musicals. It's a good film. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 9 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Bye-bye.